Hello, Watcher Chat here with your reminder that life is short. Buy the watch. Today we're going to have a comparison video and having a look at these two GMT Master 2s. We've got the Pepsi and we've got the Batgirl. This Pepsi is my watch and this Batgirl is my mate's watch. And look, I really like the blue and black version, and I was able to pick up the Pepsi. However, I actually would have preferred to pick up the Batgirl. Having looked at these two side by side, I think I'd gladly have either of them. However, if you haven't already guessed, and we'll do a few macro shots so that you can play along with me, this Batgirl is actually a super clone. And on face value, when you look at it, it's pretty good. It's actually quite close. So what I'll do is I'll run a couple of comparisons and then we can see if you can guess which one is which. Now, having said that, let's start with a weight test. I'll get the scale out. Let's see. So we'll first go with the super clone. That's coming up as 138 grams. I think it's pretty close to spec. And we'll put the on 140 grams. Actually, it's a little bit heavier. I actually thought it was going to be similar. I guess that's the extra. Oh, hang on, 140. I guess that's the extra weight of expectation weighing down on it. Okay, so what else can we see between these two watches? I actually noticed, and I don't know if it's as obvious there, but if they weren't side by side, you probably couldn't tell. But the date window, the Cyclops on, it's either the Cyclops on the super clone is slightly smaller than the genuine, or it's that the date window itself's bigger. And so I'll shoot some macros through of that, and you can just see there that it's slightly bigger. And again, if they weren't side by side, you couldn't tell. I've actually noticed that the dots on the bezel for the super clone are slightly smaller. I'm going to say the numbers on the bezel and the feel of the bezel and the surface, they feel pretty good. So we'll do the jangle test. Now, I don't know if it's because I know the weight now, but that feels a bit lighter and a bit looser with the bracelet. But if you look at the way the bracelets are finished, actually not too bad. Clasp is pretty good. I think this one's slightly a little bit of an odder shape. Get the crowns. I think the crown is obviously a little bit out there in terms of the emblem on it. You probably can't see in the video, but it is quite obvious. And I might do some measurements. Now we're on a budget, so I don't have any calipers. So until we do, we're gonna have to use the ruler. So that's measuring about 29 across. Yep. So that's pretty spot on. If we go around the bezel from end to end, it's supposed to be 40, but it's actually well, actually no, that's on 40. On 40. Thickness, excluding the bezel, that's just a touch over 10. It's the same. So look, it's pretty close in terms of the dimensions. Let's have a look at the clasp from top to top. It's saying it's about 35. At 35. So that's about the same. Now, look, from a visual perspective, the case proportions, the sizing, pretty good. And you can actually see that there's a good taper on this bracelet too. I think from a visual, the bracelets look pretty close. But where the big difference is the feel. It just feels nice and tactile. Whereas, it's a bit tight, but it's still pretty good. Yeah, that feels a bit tighter. You can the thickness, probably in the density of the steel. Then this is the Easy Link system. That's just got a really satisfying snap to it. I actually found that this is where the big difference is. In looking at these two, that's really tight and cumbersome. The SuperClone hasn't been able to get or replicate the Easy Link system. It's really tough to get back in. And look, this is not my watch, so I'm just gonna be a bit careful, right? But yeah, that's not easy to work. So I'll just sort that out a bit later. Then if you look at the crown, that's really nice and tight, and then nice click action. Sorry, cough. Click action on the date. So it just feels really nice and tight. Whereas I noticed on the SuperClone, it's actually a little bit rough. Once you click out there, it's pretty good. And that action on the date, quick set, sorry, the quick hours is usually tight as well, but it's when the crown screws in and out, that's an obvious difference. Another thing, that's a really tough visual action. Whereas this one here, really nice glide. So yeah, look, I picked this up for about 17.5 grand. This SuperClone was $1,000. If you're after the look, it certainly looks the part. Let's get them on the wrist. So that was actually quite tight how it went on the wrist. And the wear is actually not too bad at all. And that was a little bit harder to get off. It's actually surprising how that little bit of weight actually makes a big difference. I can actually feel it. So look, whether you're for or against the SuperClone, you can actually see that they're very similar in terms of the way they look. It's the feel that's slightly different, and you can actually tell here, looking at it, the crowns are slightly different as well. But look, they're very close. It's getting crazy good in terms of the way they're able to get the proportions right. Anyway, if you like the video, please click like and subscribe. And remember, life's short, buy the watch.